I think the U.S. government is taking the position, well, if you're representing a U.S. dollar, you can be regulated by the United States. That isn't the case today, and I think there may be some shifts in how that market share.
If we find ways to operate just 10% more efficiently with these assets, or we can get just 10%.
You know, when you use a website, you don't have to think about what hardware they're using, what software they're using, how they connect. It all just works. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to come up with technologies that allow the entire system to just work for people.
Ripple's really evolved from what 10 or 11 years ago was a cross-border payments company to today really more broad-based in terms of tokenization, payments, custody, and in the not too distant future will be stablecoin. And I think
like, what do we do? And so these multi-purpose tokens can have regulatory compliance information attached to the token, but they can also have properties that are between non-fungible tokens and fungible tokens that allow you to.
I'm sure most of our listeners have probably heard about the announcement of a partnership between Zonix and Ripple. I understand you guys are going to be harnessing the robust, scalable infrastructure of the XRP ledger and integrate it into your tokenization platform as a service.
That we're using enforcement as the primary way to make policy in this area. And that's just not the most effective way. It's not effective for the industry, but it's also not effective for us as a regulator with limited resources.
You're out talking to folks. What's the message? What are you hearing?
Well, I'm hearing that they're ready for change, that they're tired of a broken system. They're tired of people.
Know what you hold?
Enjoy the ride, pal.
It's the XRP Army.
Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News. Shout out to latest up. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in, smashing them likies. We got the total global cryptocurrency market cap today at 2.67 trillion, up about 0.7% in the past 24. We got XRP in that number 8 spot, right around 51.52 cents. Stellar XLM right around 10 cents. We got BTC 67,682. ETH right around 37.38 hundo. We got Flare Networks right around 0.02. Axelar $0.02. XDC 0.037. Songbird 0088. Stronghold 0073. We got Zahal right around 11 cents. Evernode 19 cents. We got Stu Alderati to pop things off, says I'm no political savant, but alienating the 20% of voting Americans that own crypto 5 months before the election seems like a losing move. Big Brad Garland House says if the Biden administration is actually serious about a shift and finally waking up to the crypto electorate, the single most important thing they can do is demand the resignation of Gary Gensler. He also says I generally meant what I said to Kenzie. It's a magical time to be alive when she asked how I feel about what's happened in crypto lately. From a renewed national focus to institutional involvement with her contributions to Fair Shake, the work continues to elect leaders who are pro-crypto, pro-innovation, and pro-consumer protection. We got the digital asset investor. This is the third or fourth time Brad Garland has gone out his way to tell the market Tether is not untouchable. Tether is going to lose market share. He is telegraphing this to the market for a reason. Strap in.
So you're getting into the business of stablecoins. It's pretty crowded, $200 billion, the collective market cap, Tether, USDC, other players. Why now?
Well, look, I think if you look at where the market is going, well, you're right. It's somewhere between $150 and $200 billion today. I think forecasts are that it's going to be somewhere around 2 trillion to 3 trillion. So that's growth of 10 to 20x where it is today. So that in of itself is those are fun markets to be in, that they're growing quickly. The second is I think there's likely to be some shifts in market share. Today, Tether is by far the dominant. The U.S. government, for better or for worse, we can debate. The U.S. government has kind of expressed concerns about Tether and how it operates outside of the United States, representing a U.S. dollar. I think the U.S. government is taking the position, well, if you're representing a U.S. dollar, you can be regulated by the United States. That isn't the case today, and I think there may be some shifts in how that market share. But look, overall, I think Tether will continue to grow. I think USDC will continue to grow. But I think there's a lot of room as that market grows for a Ripple-backed stablecoin.
We got one from Ripple. Ripple X SVP demonstrates he has no problem describing how tokenization is transforming finance in under a minute.
Tokenization is transformative for finance because essentially it's the portal allowing us to bring traditional financial markets, which at the core are still really stuck in the pre-internet era, full of red tape, onto blockchain networks, which are global out of the gate and significantly more efficient. If you think about it, there's over $1 quadrillion worth of financial assets that exists today in the world. They take days to settle and weeks to get issued, and 20% of the world population doesn't even have access to them. Now just imagine what it means to the global economy in terms of productivity, but also prosperity to everyone, if we find ways to operate just 10% more efficiently with these assets, or we can get just 10% of these people who are excluded from the global economy into the global economy. And this is exactly what drives us every single day.
We got one from Vet. Without interoperability, there will never be mass adoption.
Biggest one for me particularly is interoperability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody would use the internet if it was just one website, you know. And I think the same thing is going to happen with blockchains. Blockchains are going to be, there are going to be some that, like Bitcoin, are basically just move an asset. Mm-hmm. And there are some like Ethereum where you can bring any use case you want, but it's not particularly great for payments, or it's not particularly great for like large scale data storage. It may not be great for AI. But if we have all of these specialized solutions that don't work together, and people are going to constantly have to think about, you know, when you use a website, you don't have to think about what hardware they're using, what software they're using, how they connect. It all just works. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to come up with technologies that allow the entire system to just work for people, so that they don't have to think, oh, I have my funds on this blockchain, or the token I want to buy is over on this other blockchain. And I see a lot of people who are, we don't really know how to do that very well yet. There are a lot of people who think they, you know, when you're pushing a technology, it's tempting to say that it solves every problem perfectly. But we all know that interoperability is going to be something we're going to be working on for a long time, and it's just going to gradually get better. But I think like the very first step of that is token portability. And there's a lot of companies that I've spoken to who have really good solutions to that. And I think like that is the baby step that, you know, we absolutely have to have. But if people have to think about what blockchains they're using, what technologies they're using, then we're never going to get messed up.
But what specific?
First, we had the Internet of Information. Now welcome, the Internet of Value, XRP. Interoperability. We got XRP drops the story behind Ripple's plan to acquire Standard Custody and Trust Company.
We started PolySign, the parent company for Standard Custody and Trust, which is a New York qualified custodian. We're days away, hopefully, from closing our transaction, selling Standard Custody and Trust to Ripple, upon which I'll be joining Ripple. I'm quite excited about that.
Can you talk a little bit about what was the strategic importance of that for Ripple? Why was Ripple interested in buying Standard Custody?
Ripple's really evolved from what 10 or 11 years ago was a cross-border payments company to today really more broad-based in terms of tokenization, payments, custody, and in the not too distant future will be stablecoin. And I think in the end have focused on a mission to provide enterprise-based solutions for those institutions who want to tokenize, store, move, and exchange value on blockchains around the world. And so specifically getting a trust company is a very strategic fit for them to do that. Brad Garlinghouse, CEO, announced a number of weeks ago at Paris Blockchain about the intention to launch a stablecoin. I think when you consider Ripple's global payments network, there's a broad global base of financial institutions who increasingly have been using stablecoins as a means of payment and a settlement token for that payment. I think Ripple wants to natively be a part of that.
Huge news.
Yeah, big.
Ripple
exciting.
Launching a stablecoin that competes with USDC, Tether, PYUSD.
And I think Ripple rightly views the ecosystem as a rising tide, lifting all ships. Since you don't want to fight that, there's plenty of room for more high quality, liquid stable coins out there. So this is not a winner take all sort of, journey that Ripple's looking to go on. Quite the opposite. I think they're looking to work with the Circles of the world and other issuers to, benefit the industries.
The best is still yet to come. Crawl, walk. Then we rock it. David Schwartz, talking institutional DeFi and innovation at Consensus 2024. Bank XRP.
Stablecoin have a name yet?
We will be announcing that at APEX.
Okay. Good to know. Any other new developments that you spoke about here at Consensus, or anything that we need to know about?
Well, we've announced a couple of other strategies for the XRP ledger. One of them is oracles, which are another example. Like the oracles themselves tend to be regulated institutions. Some of them are DeFi projects, but they enable DeFi applications that are sort of jurisdictionless, like collateralized lending. You can't do collateralized lending if you don't know the value of the collateral. We've also started to talk about a proposal for what we call multi-purpose tokens. Sure. So the XRP ledger has fungible tokens that are great for things like stablecoins, and it has non-fungible tokens that are great for things like collectibles, But there's sort of like an in-between to things like carbon credits, where they're sort of fungible and like one carbon credit is a lot like another. So you probably don't want like an NFTs for them. But they're not really fungible because they're issued like against different projects that may have different regimes. And so you have like lots of assets. Concert tickets are another thing. They're sort of fungible, but they're sort of not because seats are different. And you don't want 0.997 of a concert ticket. Like how does we let you in? Or what if we have 100 people that each have 99% of a concert ticket? Like what do we do? And so these multi-purpose tokens can have regulatory compliance information attached to the token, but they can also have properties that are between non-fungible tokens and fungible tokens that allow you to address these other use cases without kind of bashing a square peg into a round hole.
Okay, and that was just announced today, the multi-purpose.
I think the first announcement was either in our blog post or in my talk a couple hours ago, both of which I think were today.
We got XRP drops, Blockstars with David Schwartz, and Zonix Inc.
I'm sure most of our listeners have probably heard about the announcement of a partnership between Zonix and Ripple. I understand you guys are going to be harnessing the robust, scalable infrastructure of the XRP ledger and integrate it into your tokenization platform as a service, tokenization lifecycle management solutions. I guess, why don't you start by telling us what those buzzwords mean?
So basically, Zonix has got three main products. Okay, one is a white label platform. We call it Tokenization Platform as Service. That's a turnkey solution for anyone to plug it in and then be up and running in 48 hours who does not know about RWA. That's one product. I'll expand more into that later. And the second one is a framework that we invented. We call it as a Tokenization Asset Lifecycle Management, TALM. So what it does is that it starts from the regulation, legality framework till all the way to primary token issuance, to token distribution, to token trading, and also DeFi operations of the token. And these are all purely securities. These are fully under the regulations of the jurisdiction of the underlying asset, wherever this is being done. So that's the second product. And the third one is a protocol, a standard which we have built that is known as ERC 7518 in Ethereum world, and under non-Ethereum world, such as XRP Ledger or any other one that is non-EVM, we call it as a DISIS, Dynamic Compliant Interoperable Security Token. This is a lot of words. I get it, but this is a holistic approach which Zonix has taken, and our partnership with XRP Ledger specifically to RWA tokenization is really to plug in this entire ecosystem of Zonix onto XRP Ledger by building native standard on XRP Ledger using trust lines, which XRP Ledger is a very mature system there, and leveraging and reusing that functionality and bringing the RWA entire ecosystem, what I just described, onto XRP Ledger.
We got one from NerdyX, probably nothing. Stellar XLM. We got XRP drops, Hester Pierce. I think we really need a reset.
Heard a lot about throughout the conference is concern from attendees here about regulation via enforcement, about the aggressive tack that the SEC has taken in enforcement matters. Does it concern you as a commissioner that so many in the industry are viewing the SEC as an adversary or as a obstacle to progress?
No, it certainly does. And I mean, I think I've had some similar concerns to what you've heard, that we're using enforcement as the primary way to make policy in this area. And that's just not the most effective way. It's not effective for the industry, but it's also not effective for us as a regulator with limited resources. And so I think we really need a reset. We need to engage people in policy making whose job is not enforcement, but whose job is actually policy making. And that's a different set of people at the SEC.
We got Dark Defender. Hi, y'all. Closed the May candle and discussed Elliott Wave targets. XRP on the weekly candles formed the cup and had no pattern, targeting $33 with a 76.85% increase. And we got live from Consensus 2024, John Deaton.
Hey, you're out talking to folks. What's the message? What are you hearing?
I'm hearing that they're ready for change, that they're tired of a broken system. They're tired of people playing partisan politics, keeping us divided. Let me tell you, I've been out there talking to hundreds and thousands of people. That doesn't matter their religion, doesn't matter their sexual orientation, doesn't matter much. We all have so much more in common. If we just start getting back to the business of working for people, we're going to do all well. And I'm going to shock the world. I'm going to retire Senator Elizabeth Warren. Trust me.
With that being said, Batman Bag Ladies, the best is still yet to come. The longer they take, the higher we climb. On that XRP risk list, let our friend know that the greatest opportunity of multiple lifetimes is still at hand, but the train's left the station. Tick tock, tick tock, where will those bags be when that regulation jar of molasses finally breaks open and XRP's true price is finally revealed?
Big bags.
Later glitches.
Pump it up, pump it up. Pump it up, gotta pump my bags up. Pump it to the moon, pump my bags up. XRP, pump it to the moon. Pump it up, pump my bags up. Pump it up, gotta pump my bags up. Pump it up, better pump my bags up. Pump it up, XRP to the moon. Pump it up, pump it up. Pump it up, gotta pump my